Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Magical Learning Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about bringing positivity into the workplace, and I couldn't imagine three better people to join me about this conversation. As always, I'll get to them shortly. As always, you can watch this on YouTube, or you can listen to this as a podcast. Whichever one you're doing, you have the other option as well. So I might just go around for what's visible to me. So I might start with our Director of Learning, Danette Fenton-Menzies. So Danette, hello, and welcome to this episode. How's your week been?
Hey, Jez. Yeah, my week's been awesome this week. Very grateful, and it feels like winter. That's the only weird thing at the moment. And I have to say, I'm dressed up for this because I've just come out of a client meeting. Normally, I'd be a bit more casual on a Friday.
Yeah, if you're watching the YouTube, you'll see that two of us are in hoodies and two of us are very formally dressed. So it's a good mix and match there. I wanted to also say hi to our senior facilitator, John Scollen. John, how's your week been?
Been very busy with work, Jess. It's been flat out, so I'm looking forward to the weekend to not do a lot of things.
Nice.
Good idea. And I want to also throw to our final guest, our CEO, Graham Gerstenberg. How are you, Graham?
Jez, I'm exceptionally well. Thank you for asking. Really grateful to be on the call today. And in case you're wondering, folks, yeah, this is pretty normal. This is my ride-on lawn mowing sort of attire. It's also, okay, that's not necessarily true. But anyway, I've just come out of a workshop, so hence the thing.
Yeah. So for those that are just listening at home, I would recommend jumping on the YouTube and having a look at how we've got our setup going. So I just wanted to thank you all for joining me today. And we're going to jump straight into bringing positivity into the workplace. And I might even start with Graham, given your positive tie. I've got a couple of questions written down. And I might start with, what are some positive effects of having a positive workplace?
So many, but two positives make a negative, Jess. Is that how that works? Some of the benefits from having a positive workplace, yeah, the simple ones are productivity, energy, creativity. I mean, if we just looked at the brain science behind positivity, there's so many amazing things there. But one of the things I love is it's just that because of the connection and the fact that we share energy. You know, we feel the energy of other people. Even when we're working in virtual environments, there's still that connectivity or that connection there. So for me, one of the biggest, and it's also for somebody who's in, yeah, maybe just a little bit flat, maybe not having a great day. There's also some subtle, sometimes just subconscious, not unconscious, subconscious reminders that another state of thinking and being is possible. That's mine.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think a lot of that is kind of what I was thinking initially. Some of it, at least with the creativity side of it, I definitely resonated with that. So I think that's an awesome one. But productivity is totally also something I remember. Well, I know, like when you work in positive environments, you help people, you know, and that's
absolutely, yeah.
So that's totally something. I want to throw it to John. Any things that you notice, like what are some positive effects of a positive workplace?
Well, I think for the workplace itself, it makes it more enjoyable. It's not such a struggle to get out of bed and go to work because you're actually looking forward to it. And there's a saying that says that if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. So I think that's very true. It makes your colleagues more cooperative. You actually have some pride and ownership in what you're doing, and you actually feel secure in your job. So that's for the workplace. For you as a person, the studies have showed that you're less susceptible to illness. So there are better health outcomes as part of being positive. You're open to new ideas and innovation, but you build up that greater resilience. You're more likely to help people.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it sounds like a host of really good stuff so far. So that's all good. And thank you for that, John. That was awesome. And I might throw it to Danette. Any final things that you notice about like the positive effects of a positive workplace?
So certainly, we spend so much time at work that it should always, as much as possible, be positive because you can't get back your time. For me, I think a really important thing is people feel more valued because they can bring more of themselves to the workplace. We've spoken in a previous podcast about image management, where people have to, come in and pretend they're something other than they're not. In a positive workplace, less image management, I suspect, because people are enjoying themselves and they feel like what they're doing is contributing to something that is greater than themselves often. And I think the best thing is it allows each of us to be ourselves and have fun.
And Danette, that image management that you're talking about, that takes effort.
Oh, it takes a lot. Yeah.
To go, okay, well, at work, I'm going to be this person and behave this way. Whereas if you're just natural, it is natural. And people will resonate with genuineness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I totally agree. Just off that point, one of the points that I put down as well was that more people speak up, which just has a bunch of knock-on effects where, you have more ideas, people aren't afraid. And I think that sort of speaks to a lot of what everyone else has been saying. I wanted to talk a little bit just quickly based on this about two people called Goodby and Silverstein, who have a masterclass in advertising, and they've done a bunch of Super Bowl ads and stuff. And they said that one thing that they keep in their company to encourage creativity is every year they set challenges for different people. And so for a bunch of people, one year it was to do 5 minutes of stand-up comedy just to keep their creative juices flowing. And so they made that a challenge. And then they obviously celebrated that fact when those people had achieved that as a company as well. So it created a sort of challenge and bringing out more in your employees.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a cool thing to do.
Yeah. It was a pretty cool masterclass, actually. But that was a pretty cool one. So I might go the other way around this time, and we might talk about some ways. What are some ways that you can bring positivity into the workplace as an employee? So I might start with you, Danette, this time. We'll go the other way, and then we'll mix it up for the third question. But yeah, what are some ways that that employees can bring positivity into the workplace?
Thanks, Jez. And just as you were talking, the phone started ringing, so that's why I went on mute. So for me, some of the ways that as employees that we can make it more positive: come in, bring yourself, have fun. I like to share funny memes just to make people laugh. Some of them are quite sad. I think the other thing is checking in on each other, because, even if it's a positive workplace, sometimes people aren't always going to be feeling great. And, it is Mental Health Month in New South Wales. So, big shout out to checking in on one another, because people don't always have to be positive. We just need to look after each other. And for me, I think being kind, being compassionate to others helps create a really nice workplace. And it starts also with yourself. So you need to look after yourself and do that self-care that we talk a lot about. So there's some of the ideas I had. Thanks, Jez.
Yeah, that's really good. I love all that. I didn't even think of most of that at all. So that's cool. The checking in on each other, I think, is really important. I think it just builds a better culture as well, generally. I might throw the same question to you, John. What are some ways that you can bring positivity into the workplace as an employee?
Yeah, look, I like that idea that Danette was talking about in checking in on people. Being positive doesn't mean that you're not going to feel down, or you're not going to feel worried, concerned, all those other things. But yeah, bring yourself in. So be genuine about who you are in the workplace, or wherever you are. There is only one you, and you're the only one that can be you. You might as well be you. So open and honest communication, I think, is very important. That any engagement you have with someone else is open and honest, and look at your language. So just do a check on your language as you talk. What sort of language are you using, and how can you improve that? And make small steps in that. So if you're using, and the classic one we talk about and use all the time is using but and, and it's, if you're starting sentences or putting in but, you're bringing things down. Whereas if you're going and, things are going to escalate and get better. So there are a couple of points.
Yeah, I really like that bit about the and bit, because it amplifies the potential in the room. So the moment someone says but, people stop speaking. But if you go, yes, and let's add to that idea, awesome. Creates a lot of positivity.
Nice.
Great suggestion, John.
Yeah, and I mean that's also I did one improv class, and that's the fundamentals of that. So improvising, creating ideas. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And Graham, I wanted to throw this question back to you, which is, what are some ways you can bring positivity into the workplace as an employee?
So I think, again, love everything that Danette and John shared. There's sort of an aspect of going back to the image management thing, and John's comment about, be yourself. And I think was it Oscar Wilde said, be yourself because everyone else is taken. When we rock up as who we are, like even a weird guy wearing a Russian handmade bow tie, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are not on the visual, get on the visual because you'll love it. I was saying to my class today, it comes complete with embedded microchip and listening device. So hello to everybody in St. Petersburg. When we turn up as who we are, and don't try and pretend to be somebody else, because the other thing that happens when we do that, when we do the whole image management thing, is that people around us can tell. We can spot a fake most of the time, really, really easily. So what that actually does is makes us feel a little less comfortable, a little less positive. So I think just being yourself, and to John's point, yes, even the most positive person on the planet can have an off day. That's called being human. I remember hearing the Dalai Lama once say that even he gets cranky sometimes and has little, I'm not sure he used the word tantrum, so I apologize most profusely if that wasn't the word used, but yeah, the message is still pretty clear. And if I can just share one thing that Danette, I'm pretty sure Danette said it first, and I sort of half turned it into a hashtag thing, that it is check your face. Check your face, ladies and gentlemen, when you go through whatever door it is, whether it's a real door or a virtual door into your workplace, what's going on here? So have you got a smile on your face because you are so grateful to be alive, or are you a miserable person and all you're doing is bringing in negativity? And I've been there, by the way. I've been there. I've been that person. Check your face. What's it doing? Are you aware of what's it doing? What it's doing? You get the idea. Sorry, Jess, I'll stop now. Great questions.
No, that's great. It's now that I'm looking back at some of the stuff that I've been jotting down about improving language and stuff, I think everyone's kind of touched on a little bit, but it's what energy you're bringing in, whether that's to do with language, what that's to do with how you look, is all something that you can affect and sort of create that difference if you want to see that difference. So I think that's really important. I hadn't really thought about that before, so that's really cool. All right, so we've got our final question here, and I wanted to start with Graham for this one. What are some ways that you can bring positivity into the workplace as an employer?
Again, great question. And for us, reflecting on the question, I'm thinking, wow, we can still get better at this. But I think one is encouraging honesty and transparency, and saying to our people, when you have a crap day, that's okay. Just tell us about it or let us know. It's not like you can't not have a good day. You have to pretend that you're happy all the time. It's okay to feel down. We just want to know, and let us know if there's something we can do to help. The other thing is just celebrating difference, because that also helps everybody get the message that we want you to turn up as who you are and not think that you need to pretend to be somebody else. And, we should have, as a company, International Russian Bow Tie Day. In fact, we might make it the Friday the 15th of October 2021, just for the hell of it. There's another thought.
I love it. That's a good suggestion, Graham. I'll get on it straight away. That's a good one. I actually, one of my notes as well for this one that I thought sort of, you've said celebrating difference, which is awesome. And I think I was just going to say, utilizing your talents, if they have extra talents, is probably a way you might be able to ingratiate that into your business. So yeah, great suggestions, Graham. Very good. And hopefully people at home can be testing their Russian bow ties today as they listen to it. That's good for them. All right, I wanted to throw this to John now. What are some ways that employers can bring positivity into the workplace?
Well, I agree with Graham. I think he can get better at it. Absolutely. That'd be really good. Pay rises, whiskey, foot rubs, great example for
Is it just me, or is the audio at John's end getting really sort of breaking up?
I think it's also celebrating the small things. it's not just the big tender wins or the the big things that occur, birthdays. It's celebrating the small things, and in fact you appreciate the individuals. So to me, if you can work out what makes an individual tick, you'll be able to appreciate them more. I think it was Thomas Jefferson, the American president, that said, "I don't like that person. I must get to know them." And it's getting to know your staff, getting to know the people that you're working with. If you lose touch of the people that you work with, you're going to lose touch with the business. So and be consistent. So if you're not consistent in all of that, start pick up on it. Yeah, my points.
Was there something going on there, John? What?
I don't know. I know that if you tripled my pay, I'd still be broke, so it doesn't matter.
Well, there's a positive outcome already, so we don't need to bother tripling your pay, because what's the point? I like that.
Exactly.
And we've got it on record, even better.
Oh, nice one. Yeah, well, I mean, I like that though, John, that it's about creating that bond between the employees and the employers that can really be something that helps out. Because I definitely feel like the more close everyone is, the more that you're all rowing in a similar direction. It's easier to help move people and stuff. So I think that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, well, Danette made comment that you spend a long time with the people that you work with. Everything, and that engagement is a relationship. So what sort of relationship do you have? Is it a busted one where it's going to end in divorce? Is it one that's nurturing people and getting them to grow and challenge themselves and where they feel safe? Then it's going to grow and blossom. So what sort of relationship have you got?
Yeah,
great.
Amazing. And I might throw to Danette the same question. How can employers bring positivity into the workplace?
Great question, and some great answers already. I think as the employers, we need to lead by example. So all of the stuff we've been talking about, we sort of need to drive that. I think one of the other things we can do is see the potential in our people that they don't yet see in themselves. So, coming back to that bit about people's strengths and their potential is really, making sure that people know that we've already seen it in them, even if they don't quite yet believe it in themselves. Something I love to do is food. So even just sometimes chocolate, cake, whatever it is, that can really just bring up the vibe of the day. In lockdown, we've done a number of team games and stuff like that. I think that's also really helpful. The inclusiveness is absolutely important. Everyone needs to be able to come and show who they are. And from a work perspective, because there is so much chaos happening, that we need to remember as employers that we need to be flexible, we need to be kind, we need to be compassionate, because the brain often, when we come into chaos, wants to control everything, and it starts micromanaging, which is the opposite of positivity in the workplace. So it's remembering that this is my opportunity to step up as an employer and show that kindness, that compassionate. And I come back to, as employers, I can't do anything without my people. So I'm super grateful for the entire team and remembering that gratitude, because at the end of the day, without the whole team, we're nothing.
Yeah. Very true. One other thing, sorry, that just popped into mind, Jess, if I may, particularly from the employer's perspective, I think Danette's comment about, we need to set the example. So the check your face thing applies more to us, more to the employer than it does to their people. But the other thing, and this is, I'm just going to have a little soapbox moment, if I can indulge myself at like 38.5 seconds, about John's comment about this is about relationships. We work with people. And for me as an employer, the minute I start thinking of my people as talent, I have a problem. Yes, I'm old. Language is important. I don't work with talent. My people have talent, but they're not talent. I just find it depersonalizes or dehumanizes the person. They just become a noun. But I love John's point about relationships. So we need to think as employers, how do we build stronger relationships with our people? And to Danette's point, we're nothing without them. That's absolutely true. How do we lift them up above us so they become more amazing than we are? In fact, maybe they already are, and we just haven't noticed that yet. Sorry, rant over.
No,
Carry on.
That was awesome. Actually, that's really good. So thank you for that, Graham. I think it's good to have that sort of sectioned out, and because I think that'll also be a great thing that we can use for social media, because I think it's a good snapshot as well for people to just take like a bit from this. I think that's a really good one. I also just wanted to piggyback off that a little bit based on if you just discount people as just talent and you take on some of their other stuff. Even what I've learned from you, Graham, about how to do websites has now allowed us to create other websites that, like you've spread that skill throughout Magical Learning now. So, and I think that balances off a bunch of stuff. Like, you guys were doing the podcast for a little while by yourselves pretty much, and I was just doing the back end section. And that was something that we were able to sort of come from different approaches and meet up. So I think even that stuff that doesn't seem directly relevant to what you do in your job title can then create more value per person almost. And and more connection, I guess, as more people have more talents. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. I did want to get some final thoughts from you, so we'll do that shortly. But I just wanted to say thank you all. This has been a really, really good session. I've learned so much. This is the one that the answers have been the most different to my jotted down notes. So I feel like I've really taken on a lot of information here.
Love it.
So I might start with you, Danette. Any final thoughts you had on bringing positivity into the workplace in general?
Yep. So it is often really easy to come in and be that sad face, that negative face. But every minute, every second, in fact, you impact on others. And if by turning up a little bit more positive, you might make someone's day, you may actually change someone's life, and you'll never know that. And I come back to Drew Dudley's Everyday Leadership.
Yeah.
About everything you do impacts on others. So, try to be more positive if you can. And it's okay when you're not. That's when you ask for help, because if you've got a really good environment, it's safe to ask for help too. Thank you, Jez. Great session.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. John, any final thoughts on bringing positivity into the workplace?
Yeah, for me, these sessions to me are the positive part of my work week. To be honest, I actually thoroughly look forward to getting on and talking about whatever the topic is. And in all honesty, it makes my whole week. I think it's just consistency. It's like any other skill that you want to learn. If you're not good at it, you can improve through consistency, through practice. And if you are good at it, get better through that practice and consistency. So, no, look, brilliant. Thanks, Jess. I love these things.
And can I echo, this is the highlight of my week as well. Love these sessions. So, yeah, it's awesome. Thank you, John.
I totally agree. I love doing them as well. It's really fun. And I even like now that we have a little video of it for people to watch as well. I think it just adds an extra element. But yeah, I totally agree. I love doing this. It's really fun. And Graham, some final thoughts on bringing positivity into the workplace.
Danette and I have been talking recently about what we do as a company, and because I like words, I love language. It's so powerful. And we talked about the fact that what we do is we amplify people. Danette talked before about identifying the gifts, the talent, the magic in people before sometimes they're even aware that it's there. So what we do collectively as a business, as a family, as a team, is we get the opportunity to help amplify the gifts, the talent, the magic, the wonder, the positivity that's in other people. And the quickest way to get there is to start by being positive, because when we're in that state, it's a lot easier for us to recognize the people around us and the gifts that they have and the talent that is sometimes latent that we can help bring out. We exist to build relationships as human beings. That's why we're here. This is such a gift, such an honor, actually, to be in a position where we can help others. And I love John saying, if you're really good about being positive, get better. I love it. It's fantastic. 3 thumbs up.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. This has been a really, really good chat, and I'm excited to see you all next week. I'll have to work out a good topic. But I just want to thank you all so much for being on the podcast. It's been awesome, and I'm glad you all are really enjoying it. I'm loving it as well. So thank you all very much.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jez.
Thanks, Jez. Thanks,
Thanks,
John,
all.
and thanks, Graham.
John.
Thanks, Graham.
Have a great weekend, guys. See you later.